10 stars who spend money in the craziest ways. Imagine having so much money that you could buy a literal ghost town. Now imagine actually doing it, and losing millions when it all falls apart. What if I told you that one of Hollywood's biggest icons spent over $3 million shooting a dead man's ashes out of a custom-built cannon? Or that a music legend built a full-scale amusement park in their backyard complete with zoo animals just to recapture a stolen childhood? These aren't rumors. These aren't tabloid lies. These are documented, verified, absolutely insane purchases made by some of the world's most famous people. Today, we're counting down 10 celebrities whose spending habits go beyond luxury, beyond excess, and straight into the realm of absolute madness. From cursed artifacts to mummified creatures, from paranormal protection to architectural fantasies that defied physics and permits, these stories will change how you think about wealth forever. And number one? It's not just crazy, it's heartbreaking. Let's dive in. Here's the thing about having unlimited wealth. The normal rules of reality stop applying. For most people, a major purchase requires months of planning, saving, and sacrifice. We deliberate over car payments and mortgage rates. But when you're worth hundreds of millions, the question isn't, can I afford this? It's, does this even exist yet? And if not, can someone build it? What you're about to hear isn't just about expensive taste. It's about obsession, trauma, ego, and the strange psychological territory that opens up when money is no longer a boundary. Some of these celebrities were chasing dreams. Others were running from nightmares. A few were simply bored enough to rewrite the definition of possible. These 10 entries have been carefully researched and verified. Some you might have heard whispers about. Others have been deliberately hidden from public view. But all of them share one trait. They reveal the humanity, and sometimes the madness behind the fame. Let's start the countdown. 10th, Nicolas Cage. We're kicking things off with Hollywood's most legendary spender, Nicolas Cage. Cage didn't just buy expensive things. He bought items with stories, dark stories. He once purchased a 9-foot-tall burial tomb in New Orleans, a pyramid-shaped monument in one of the city's most haunted cemeteries. He bought it for himself. To this day, it sits empty, waiting. But the tomb is just the beginning. Cage also acquired one of the most haunted mansions in Louisiana, the Laurie Mansion, infamous for its history of torture and cruelty. He owned shrunken heads from tribal cultures, exotic reptiles, and a collection of rare comic books worth millions. And then there's the dinosaur skull. Cage spent $276,000 on a genuine Tyrannosaurus bataar skull, outbidding Leonardo DiCaprio at auction. He displayed it in his home like a conversation piece. The problem? It was stolen from Mongolia. He eventually had to return it to the Mongolian government. But for years, Nicolas Cage lived with a prehistoric apex predator watching over his living room. When asked why he made these purchases, Cage said he wanted to live inside his own mythology. Mission accomplished. But if you think that's wild, wait until you see what's next. 9th, Mike Tyson. From ancient bones to living beasts, Mike Tyson redefined what it means to own exotic pets. During the height of his career, in the 1990s, Tyson spent over $4 million purchasing and caring for 3 full-grown Bengal tigers. These weren't house cats. These were 500-pound predators with jaws strong enough to crush bone. Tyson kept them at his estate, walked them on industrial-strength chains, and according to multiple interviews, occasionally let them sleep near his bed. Here's where it gets darker. One of Tyson's tigers reportedly mauled a trespasser who jumped his fence, tearing off part of the person's arm. Tyson settled the lawsuit for $250,000. But instead of getting rid of the tigers, he kept them for years. Tyson has since reflected on this period of his life with surprising honesty. He's admitted that owning the tigers wasn't about status or showing off. It was about surrounding himself with creatures as dangerous and unpredictable as he felt inside. The tigers were mirrors. Eventually, as his finances collapsed and his priorities shifted, Tyson gave the tigers to a sanctuary. But for a time, Iron Mike lived with the jungle's most feared killers as his companions. And somehow, that's not even the strangest thing on this list. 8th, Lady Gaga. Now let's talk about the invisible threat that terrified one of pop's biggest stars. During her 2012 Born This Way ball tour, Lady Gaga became convinced she was being haunted. Not metaphorically, literally haunted. She believed a male spirit named Ryan was following her from city to city, feeding off her creative energy and causing chaos backstage. Her response? She spent nearly $50,000 on state-of-the-art electromagnetic field detectors, thermal cameras, and a team of professional paranormal investigators. She had her hotel rooms swept for supernatural activity. Her tour buses were blessed. She even invested in equipment to detect spiritual frequencies. Gaga described Ryan as a presence she felt during performances, in dressing rooms, and late at night when she was alone. Whether Ryan was real or a manifestation of exhaustion and fame-induced anxiety, Lady Gaga took the threat seriously. And here's the kicker, she still talks about him. In interviews years later, Gaga has referenced energies and presences that she believes attach themselves to artists who channel intense emotions. $50,000 to fight a ghost. That's not just eccentric, that's commitment to your own reality. But we're just getting started. 7th, Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Next, we have music's ultimate power couple and their unapologetic pursuit of perfection. Beyoncé and Jay-Z famously spent $200,000 on a pair of solid gold bathtubs for their daughter, Blue Ivy. Solid gold. But that's merely the appetizer. The couple has reportedly spent over $1 million annually just renting private islands in the Bahamas for family vacations, ensuring total privacy and control. But here's the moment that defines their spending philosophy. They once rented the entire Louvre Museum in Paris after hours. The cost, factoring in production, security, museum fees, and logistics, is estimated at over $17 million. Why? To film the apeshit music video surrounded by priceless art, with zero interference. Think about that. They bought access to the Mona Lisa, to winged victory, to centuries of human achievement, just to dance in front of it. This is what separates ordinary wealth from empire-level wealth. For Beyoncé and Jay-Z, money doesn't buy things, it bends reality. It purchases experiences that shouldn't be possible and makes the world rearrange itself around their vision. And honestly, they make it look effortless. 6th, Kanye West. Speaking of vision, Kanye West belongs in a category all his own. Kanye didn't just spend money on possessions, he spent it on futures that may never exist. In 2019, he invested tens of millions building prototype dome homes in the hills near Calabasas. Massive futuristic structures meant to revolutionize housing and solve homelessness. The problem? He didn't get permits. Authorities demolished them, but that didn't stop him. Kanye purchased Monster Lake Ranch in Wyoming for $14 million, envisioning a self-sustaining creative compound where artists could escape the industry and build freely. He poured millions more into fashion lines, stage designs, and presidential campaign infrastructure. Here's what makes Kanye's spending truly crazy, it's ideological. He doesn't buy yachts or jewelry, he buys concepts. He invests in structures, systems, and ideas that exist primarily in his imagination. Sometimes they materialize, often they don't. Kanye West spends money the way inventors spend time, chasing visions that most people can't even see yet. It's bankrupted him multiple times, but it's also made him a billionaire. Whether that's genius or madness depends entirely on who you ask. 5th, Celine Dion. And now we shift from ego to heart. Celine Dion installed a $2 million climate-controlled humidification system in her closet, just to preserve her collection of over 10,000 pairs of shoes. The technology rivals what museums use to protect ancient artifacts. But shoes aren't the story here. Dion also built a $30 million estate in Florida, complete with a full-scale water park, lazy rivers, water slides, multiple pools, and aquatic play structures. It was extravagant beyond measure. But here's what changes everything. She built it for her children while her husband, Renee Angelil, was battling cancer. After Renee's death, Celine sold the estate and donated a significant portion of the proceeds to medical research and children's charities. The water park wasn't about showing off. It was about creating joy in a home shadowed by terminal illness. It was about giving her kids memories that would outlast grief. Suddenly, the most expensive shoe closet in the world seems like the least important part of the story. Celine Dion's spending wasn't crazy. It was love disguised as luxury. But we're about to enter much darker territory. 4th, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's spending reads like a fever dream written by Hunter S. Thompson himself. In 2005, Depp spent over $3 million fulfilling his friend's final wish, shooting Hunter S. Thompson's ashes out of a 153-foot custom-built cannon over Aspen, Colorado. The cannon was designed to look like Thompson's personal logo, a fist gripping a peyote button. It fired his ashes into the sky while Norman Greenbaum's Spirit in the Sky blasted from speakers. It was the most expensive funeral in modern history, but that's just one chapter. Depp owned a private island chain in the Bahamas worth $75 million. He spent $18 million on a yacht. He purchased entire vineyards in France, guitar collections worth millions, and Hollywood memorabilia that filled warehouses. The insanity? He was spending $2 million per month maintaining this lifestyle. Per month. He eventually sued his financial managers, claiming they mismanaged his fortune. They countersued, revealing the extent of his spending. Court documents showed Depp had burned through over $650 million. Johnny Depp didn't just spend recklessly. He spent like a man building monuments to friendships, fantasies, and a life he needed to believe was real. And it almost destroyed him. Third, Kim Basinger. Here's a story most people have forgotten, but it's absolutely wild. In 1989, actress Kim Basinger did something almost unthinkable. She bought an entire town. Not a house in a town, not property in a town. The entire town. Brazelton, Georgia. Population, around 500. Size, 1,751 acres. Cost, $20 million. Basinger partnered with investors and purchased the whole municipality, homes, shops, land, infrastructure, with dreams of transforming it into a tourist destination and film festival hub. She envisioned artists' retreats, Hollywood events, and a cultural renaissance. It failed catastrophically. 5 years later, during bankruptcy proceedings, she sold her stake at a devastating loss. The town purchase became a punchline, a cautionary tale about celebrity hubris. But here's the haunting part. For a brief moment in American history, a Hollywood actress owned a functioning town. She had authority over streets, buildings, and the lives happening inside them. That's not just eccentric, that's feudal. Kim Basinger literally tried to buy utopia, and reality foreclosed on her dream. Second, Michael Jackson. We're almost at number 1. But first, the king of pop. Michael Jackson's spending was the physical manifestation of trauma trying to buy itself free. He spent $150,000 on Dorothy's ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz. He purchased a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, believing it would extend his life to 150 years. He allegedly tried to buy the bones of the Elephant Man for $1 million, a story he later admitted was partially manufactured publicity, but one he genuinely considered. And then there's Neverland Ranch. Over $100 million spent constructing a private amusement park, petting zoo, and fantasy kingdom where Michael could live the childhood he never had. Every ride, every animal, every piece of whimsy was a defense mechanism against the cruelty of early fame. But here's the tragedy: Neverland became his prison. The place built to protect him became evidence in court cases. The sanctuary became a crime scene in public perception. He eventually abandoned it, leaving it to decay. Michael Jackson spent a fortune trying to reverse time, to stay innocent, to remain a child forever. And the world punished him for it anyway. That's not just crazy spend. That's a Greek tragedy told through credit card statements. But nothing, absolutely nothing, compares to number 1. First, Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, billionaire, aviator, filmmaker, recluse, legend. Hughes spent the final 2 decades of his life locked in penthouse suites, spending millions on rituals that make everyone else on this list look sane. He purchased entire floors of hotels just to control who could occupy the space near him. He bought TV stations so he could broadcast his favorite movies at 4 a.m. when he couldn't sleep. In the 1950s, Hughes spent $24 million, nearly $300 million in today's money, buying up every single available airtime slot on Las Vegas television stations. Why? To prevent the broadcast of nuclear test footage. He was terrified of radiation, so he bought silence. As his mental health deteriorated, Hughes spent millions on absurd specifications. Staff had to follow 30-page instruction manuals just to deliver him a sandwich. He paid people to sit outside his door for years without ever speaking to them. He built empires to enforce his isolation. And here's the heartbreak. When Howard Hughes died in 1976, he weighed 90 pounds. His fingernails were inches long. He was malnourished, paranoid, and alone. He'd spent over $2.5 billion in modern currency trying to buy safety, control, and peace. He bought none of it. Howard Hughes spent everything to escape the world. And the world forgot him anyway. That's not crazy. That's tragedy in its purest form. So there you have it. 10 celebrities who spent money in ways that reveal more about the human condition than any documentary ever could. Some chased power. Others ran from pain. A few just wanted to feel something real. But here's what I want to know. If you had unlimited wealth, what would be your crazy purchase? Would you buy a haunted mansion, a private island, your own town? Or would you build something the world has never seen before? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to know what drives you. If this video made you think, hit that like button. If you want more deep dives into the strange, shocking, and unbelievable, subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, we're just getting started. Thanks for watching.